Actually, one of the biggest things, because I now know 3 people who've gone through ALEX, and they told me they were tired of trying to fake their way through, because there's a lot of work and you have like deliverables every week. And to meet the deliverables, they had to kind of like copy work from people, the copy. And then at the end of it, she's like, but I don't know what I've done. I can't sit down and build something because the content is so much. We have to push through. They have a pass mark of, I think, 80%.
Wait, and the program is like a year, right?
It's a year long.
9 to 5 has good vibes, but 9 to 5 with Ngari has better.
Engineering coding bootcamps have increased in popularity, and that's just not in the world, in Kenya as well. We have very many bootcamps coming up, and they are selling the hope that you will land a job as well as gain some world-class experience, hands-on skills while in the bootcamp. So today I am joined by a guest who has been through a bootcamp just to talk about what is actually an engineering bootcamp. Is there value? Is it expensive? Are there some form of gatekeepers to getting software engineers into the workplace? So welcome.
Thank you. So I guess I introduced myself. So, so my name is Mbogwa Mwora. I went through a bootcamp. I went through Moringa. It was a kind of spur of the moment decision. Mm-hmm. So I did the normal thing that every person who's gone through it before does. You finish and you don't know what exactly you're going to do when you're 18, 19, when you're choosing what course you're going to do. So I had a very strong background in mathematics, physics, and I used to dabble with computers a little bit, but for fun. So when I finally decided on what to do, actually, I decided on my course 3 minutes before the job site closed.
3 minutes, like, oh shit.
I'll always say the problem of passing high school, especially when you don't know what you're going to do, is that you have too many options.
Yeah.
And
especially if you're smart like you. I don't think many people have options, but I think you're like a smart guy.
Let me toot my own horn. Yes, I passed high school very, very well. I was actually number 3 in Nyandarua County.
Wow, congrats.
I passed very, very well. But then immediately now deciding what I was going to do, I remember looking at the pass list. I was like, okay, I can literally do anything.
Yeah.
And then my dad is an engineer. So he's like, okay, you're going to do engineering.
Always.
I was like, okay, physics was fun, but I don't think I really want to do anything my father has done. So that's how I did my process of elimination. So mechanical engineering, out. My elder brother did mechatronic engineering.
Cool.
I was like, no, I don't want to study the same course, out. I have so many uncles who've done electrical. I was like, nope. Out.
Oh, wow, family of engineers.
Yeah, we have a lot of engineers in my family. So honestly, the last engineering that was left, besides aeronautical, was financial engineering.
Okay.
So I decided to go into financial engineering because I had formed a group with my friends when we were in high school at Shama. Like, just because we're like, we're going to make money. Yeah, what? So, and I was the chairman of the group. So I thought being the chairman of this group, it'd be good for me to have like deep financial knowledge. So I chose financial engineering. So that's how I ended up in JKUAT, doing a 4-year course in financial engineering. But at my second is when I realized, oh my goodness, I really do not like this course.
Oh, really? Why not?
First of all, I didn't know it was... First of all, the Kenyan market didn't really understand what financial engineers were.
I actually don't even know what that. Yes. What is a financial engineer?
My explanation would always be, it's like a person who's done actuarial science, but they are now employed by investment companies. Mm-hmm. So I remember my goal was to maybe get into PwC.
Okay, yeah.
Or there's this company, it starts with 2 Ps, but they also do like a lot of worldwide investments. So they do trading in like gold, silver.
Wow, cool.
So I found that a bit interesting. Like, yeah, trading would be very interesting. It's called Futures Fast. Yeah, Futures. I really wanted to work in that company. But then I interacted with a few people who worked at Futures First. Even in McKinsey, I knew a few people who worked at McKinsey. And I was like, this is what I want to do. But then when I saw what they do on a day-to-day basis, it did not intrigue me.
Yeah.
I realized very quickly that I hate accounting.
Yeah.
I hate financial mathematics. I like math, but I don't like financial mathematics.
Yeah. Balancing things, auditing.
Oh my goodness, auditing. Oh.
Yeah.
So I remember now when I was in my second year of university, I told my dad, okay, this is not for me.
Oh, how did he take that?
So he just wanted to keep me in school first. He's like, okay, Mbogwa, you've started this journey.
Maliza.
Just finish, and then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I just, then
Good
I told
advice.
Him, so I told him, okay, I'll finish, but I won't pass.
Oh.
I was like, I don't put any effort because I don't think that this is my line completely.
Yeah.
So I don't think he believed me when I said I won't pass. I literally just said I will focus all my energies on co-curriculars.
Yeah.
I'll try to build myself outside of this course because I know for a fact I'll just get that paper and put it aside.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up doing a lot of ISEC activities when I was in university. I got to travel. I got to.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I traveled so much when I was. That's why I decided this is going to be my university experience.
Yeah.
Let me fully embrace this side, and it really built me. So actually, an ISEC friend of mine is one who introduced me to Moringa.
Okay.
He was a year ahead of me, and he graduated and immediately joined Moringa, and he was getting like side gigs, and I was seeing he's earning a bit of money on the side.
Yeah.
And we're still in university, so even earning a little bit of money, I was like,
That's something, yeah.
wow. So I set that goal in my head, graduate Moringa. So I graduated in September, and by February the next year, I was in Moringa.
Okay, so just to get it right, you went into Moringa because you wanted to build like your coding.
Yes, I did.
Skill
The one
sets.
thing that at least financial engineering helped was it made me understand. I did like the basics of programming. We did a little bit of data analytics. So we did a bit of things with R, very low level C programming. And that very low level really intrigued me.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I just enjoyed the process of building.
Yeah.
And then like everybody has an app idea.
Exactly.
Everyone has an app idea.
Especially when you're in tech, everyone's like, I want to build this product. Yeah.
So I always had ideas. I used to write them on my notes in my phone. So it really intrigued me to be able to build an app.
yeah.
So that's what really pushed me to Moringa. I was like,
Okay.
So
it wasn't employment.
It wasn't really employment first.
Yeah.
It was, I'm intrigued with building.
Oh, nice. I love that. Yeah.
So, I got into Moringa, and that's why I chose Android development. I was like, I just want an idea of mine to be fully formed, fully created.
I
and
love
want
it.
to do it.
Yeah. I guess, okay, let first, what is a coding bootcamp?
Okay, so a coding bootcamp is basically like I'd say it's like an acceleration of, let's say, computer science or computer engineering. They kind of trim the fat a little bit and give you skills that are needed now.
Okay.
I would say that because while I was in university, I had friends who were doing computer engineering, but they'd be in my classes for like statistical mathematics.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of theory, but they wouldn't do as many like
practical.
projects.
Yeah.
A lot of practical projects. So I think the advantages with coding bootcamps is they focus on projects from the get-go. Immediately you start. Once you can be able to move around a computer, start with a project.
We'll start with the project.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know some like coding bootcamps have a fee attached to them. Some don't. Like say for Moringa, for example.
Yep.
It's quite pricey, especially if you think you've done 4 years of university, then you need to go into a coding bootcamp. And some are free, as you told me, ALX, which I was surprised. Which one do you prefer?
Okay, so I've explored a few of them, but I chose Moringa because I said I was introduced by a friend of mine. Moringa isn't the cheapest option out there. I remember my fee at the time, I think was 140,000, paid halfway through. So half you pay 70, and then if you complete, you pay the other 70. I'm fortunate enough that my parents agreed to pay for me that.
Yeah.
Though Moringa do also have a scholarship program.
Yeah.
They do take quite a few people, but I'd say the majority of the people there are self-sponsored, where they do pay the fee. But there are quite a few people who get sponsored, or Moringa waives their fee. The advantage as well with Moringa is when I was there, it wasn't. There's a lot more personalized attention.
Oh, that's nice. Is it because they're less people? Because I know some are huge.
Okay, now I know that they're getting up there in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
But for example, we started around 250.
Yeah.
And in that class of 250, we had 6 or 7, we call them technical mentors.
Wow.
But that number kept on going down because people would drop off. Some people couldn't, or some people even wanted to just do the basics.
Yeah.
Because it was split into, you first do a first 5 weeks of basics, and then you decide whether you want to continue to the core program.
Yeah.
So some people would reach the basics and be like, okay, I just wanted the basics. I'll come back to do the core program later.
Yeah.
Which is still acceptable. So by the time we were getting to core where you do the true meat of it, we were only 10 people for Android.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I think the full stack engineers were, I think, around 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from like about 250 to 60.
To 60, 70 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is manageable if you have around 6 mentors. That's about one person for every 10.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, which is a good ratio.
Yeah.
And the technical mentors there they were young, they were very engaging. Some of them are still my friends until today. We used to hang out after class. So the reason I really liked Moringa was that closeness with the technical mentors. Some of them were even recent graduates of Moringa who were hired by Moringa to continue teaching.
Oh, awesome. That is so cool. So do you believe you've gotten the return on investments on spending time at a bootcamp? And would you advise someone who's like graduating now, is this the way into
tech?
Into tech? Is it the way into employment? Did you get those practical skills? And have you been able, those are many questions. Do it one by one. Let's start with the top one.
Let's start with return on investment.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I've gotten my return on investment from Moringa. Leave aside even the coding bit because I think I learned way more outside of Moringa.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the doors it opens and also the people you meet, because now it kind of focuses your life into the tech space.
Yeah.
When you're kind of trying to learn on your own, it's very difficult for those doors to be opened.
Yeah.
Because right now you can almost teach yourself anything online.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah,
edX.
There's so many. Coursera, Udemy. You can learn anything.
Yeah.
But you can never replace the doors that such institutions will open for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you talk about this, tell me about these doors.
Yeah.
I want to know these doors. Because, I guess it's concerning for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're in 2023 and we can see the layoffs that are happening.
Yep.
And we've done an episode on tech layoffs.
Yep.
Where are people coming into the tech space right now? Which doors are these that are opening for opportunity?
So right now, honestly, the landscape has almost like done a 360. I remember when I joined, there was opportunities everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in Moringa, we had company partnerships during our last projects, and that's how I even got my employment. But right now, I see it's a bit more, it's harder for them to get companies to come and recruit directly. They only now kind of segregate their best students for the few companies that are coming to them right now. Because right now, the tech landscape is a bit more challenging to enter.
Yeah.
But the doors that can still be opened are the people you're meeting. I recently mentored a few people from Moringa, and I told them, while you're still hunting for a job, just come together and build an idea you have.
Yeah, that's a good advice.
That's a door, because even before I got employed, I remember I got together, the first money I ever received from anything I built was, we got together 3 friends, and we decided to build an app for my friend's aunt, just a very simple app. So that was... And it was just as we were graduating. And I would have never met those people if we were not coding together at Moringa.
Okay.
So it's, even though people are finding it hard right now to get like full-time employment, there's getting together and building that idea that you've always had.
I love that, yeah.
There's also a lot of this, what are they called? Recruitment companies like TopTal.
Yes, yeah.
That still do take people if you can prove that you have a bit of technical know-how. So I've seen some people who do even go from Moringa and they get hired by TopTal, Upwork.
Yeah. Fiverr, all those kind of kids.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You don't have to be like out of the gate making money, but it's that you're continuing to sharpen your skills, you're building something, you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really good analogy. That community and that's like solve this problem, build something. That is a really good experience. So I guess my other question is, do you think if universities, like campuses in Kenya were doing better, there wouldn't be a need
for bootcamps?
Because I find it a very, like when I graduated, my last year was literally, you're attached, you're doing an attachment, you have a project, you're doing it through the year, you're working with a company, and that's kind of where I learned like a lot of practical skills. Why aren't universities in Kenya doing this? Is that like the root cause and why there's a gap there?
Honestly, I do believe so. I think the problem with universities is and I will use tech buzzword, they're not agile. So the rate of transformation is a bit too slow for the tech world.
Yeah.
Like even me sitting here, like the number of times I've had to upskill within my work is it's almost at an instant.
Yeah.
It's very hard for a university to make that investment year round.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, we have to like reanalyze the syllabus. We have to. So it's very difficult for them to do that. That's why I think that's where the gap is, and that's why I think the coding bootcamps have seen that they can come and give that extra. In fact, I think one of the people who actually do like thrive a little bit in these bootcamps are people who have come out from like computer science, computer engineering. However, they also do have a little bit of hubris. I'm putting this out there. They come in thinking that they know. But
interesting.
The problem with that is you kind of close off your mind.
Yeah.
You know, it's very difficult to tell like somebody who has finished 4 years at computer to be like, okay, this is what a HTML tag is.
It's
like, come on.
I know this.
And then you try to tell them, just trust the process. You have to go with everyone. They're like, no, I know. But then the problem is they kind of some of them get like dropped off through the process because they didn't have that open mind. They're like, I know this. Then all of a sudden they're like, wait.
I don't know this.
I don't know. I'm stuck. Wait, let me go back.
Yeah.
So my advice to people who are going to go from computer engineering to a boot camp, just have that open mind. Write those tags. Just do it again.
Start from back to basics.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we mentioned that boot camps are there to help people go into the boot camp to get some really hands-on experience.
Yep.
Do you feel like, we'll use the moringa because that's who you, the bootcamp that you went through. Do you feel you got that work experience that helped you transition from a bootcamp to like formal employment?
Well, I'll say yes and no.
It's good.
Yes, because I think they did their best in a sort of general aspect. They're like, these are the things you generally need. We did even go through like a few mock interviews at the bootcamp, how to answer technical questions. Of course, there's the skills that they give you. But I remember when I got into employment, I was like, this is different.
What the hell?
No, they did actually warn us that...
what is different?
Well, I guess it's, first of all, the languages I was using were not at my workplace, so I had to kind of immediately upskill.
Yeah.
I had to now, but they did teach me how to learn a new language quickly.
Yeah, you learn how to learn.
Maybe that's a skill I would say that is extremely good to have. I'll give a very interesting example. When you're transitioning, in Moringa, when you're transitioning from, I can't remember what the first 5 weeks is the basics, and then you get into core. Before you transition into core, you have a 2-week period where they drop a very heavy framework on you. And I remember that period was tumultuous. I was like, oh my God, I don't understand anything.
Yeah.
And because it's in 2 weeks, you have to build a project with a new framework. You've never interacted with this. All you know is HTML, CSS. They drop for you Angular, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. But I had that exact same feeling at work when we were switched upward, and I was like, okay, now I'm not panicking. I'm like, this is what needs to do. You need to grind, do this. And within 2 weeks, I was able to pick up. So I think the biggest skill Moringa gives you is you can immediately kind of orient yourself and pick up things very fast. But there's still a few gaps that they can fill up. It's not perfect. No institution is perfect.
Of course,
I think I would have appreciated a little bit more on the technical side of answering like interviews. They don't focus too much on that because some interviews require more theoretical background. So, for example, maybe somebody who has completed a 4-year degree has a better theoretical background, so they can easily answer some interviews. Because those foundations, those foundations I think are still important, and because in Moringa it's more project oriented. They don't really focus too much on that. They do touch on it, but it's not really emphasized. So I think with just that tweak, I think it'd be really good.
How about other skills like communication, agile, product management? Because when you're coming into a workplace, and suppose you're going into a product management space, how did you learn those skills at the bootcamp, or did you just have to learn at the job?
We touched on them, but I learned most of it on the job. But we did touch on it. we were kind of doing agile without being told that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because...
But that's the best type of agile.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I remember my biggest confusion when I joined the workforce is I was a developer and I was the Scrum Master.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I remember
Refuse such things next time.
So I thought that being a Scrum Master meant that you also had to be a developer. So at the work, when I got to work and being a Scrum Master is an individual role, I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's a whole role by itself.
Yeah.
So I think that's we touched on it, but we didn't really know maybe the exact why or what we were doing. So the concepts were there, they were just not fleshed out.
Okay, cool. Very clear.
Yeah.
I think as we know, there's so many bootcamps right now. You know, there's Indua, there's Moringa. I think Moringa has been there for a while.
Yeah.
There's ALX. And I know you have a passion for looking at these bootcamps.
Yeah.
Are there any in particular you question their strategy, like how they're going about things? I find it quite odd that ALX is free. They do attract a whole lot of people.
Huge.
But I do not think like that is sustainable. As you say, that quality, that one-on-one mentorship with... It's not there.
My point of view, after coming out of Moringa, and I did a few talks at Moringa because I was called back a few times. I also had a few friends and even family members who got into the tech world because of me, and they always asked me what should I start with. And I remember because when ALX came out, I was like, oh wow, this is so amazing because they're offering a free program. You just enter and do it. I was like, you know what, just do that. Don't even go to Moringa.
Yeah.
Go to ALX. Let's see how it goes. And I got shocked at first because now they'd come to me like, help me solve this. I'm so lost. And I'd look at the content they were being given and I was like, why are they teaching somebody who has has zero background? They're teaching like very tough concepts, like
what is a tough concept?
Like for example,
like,
they would touch on which I thought was good by the way, but they would touch on things like building a seashell from scratch. And I was
wow, from someone who has
no background.
Okay,
I was like, that is tough. I was like, I'm struggling. I'm like, let me go and
YouTube.
Let me go and learn fast, and I come and help you.
Oh wow!
So and then I delved more because it was a cousin of mine who was actually doing it. So I'm like, okay, show me your content. And she showed me the content. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a lot. And in the first few days of ALX, they tell you need grit to go through the program. And I thought, okay,
you need grit.
I was like, okay, maybe that's what they just say. But honestly, they do really mean grit because they kind of burden you with a lot of work, and you kind of have to swim your way through because, as you said, like many people join at once.
Yeah.
In a cohort of like 40,000 people. And all of you on like a Slack channel, it's a bit noisy.
Oh my God, I could not.
And there'd be like only one or two people responsible for that entire group. So I remember my cousin would tell me...
Bootcamp for the masses.
Yeah.
Really.
My cousin would tell me like, oh, 4,000 people have dropped off. And I'm like, what do you mean 4,000 people have dropped off?
Okay, but and it's understandable when you've just talked through this experience because sometimes, yes, I think they have that as a badge of honor. We have
recruiting thousands of people across Africa,
and only like a few get through. But I understand, and sometimes I think the people who will get through are a certain type of person. Like for example, if you've gone through the Kenyan 844 system,
definitely.
I can assure you'll be like, this is a breeze. Like I just need to sit down, cram, get good results. You'd get through. Awesome.
Actually, one of the biggest things, because I now know 3 people who've gone through ALX, and they told me they were tired of trying to fake their way through because there's a lot of work and you have like deliverables every week. And to meet the deliverables, they had to kind of like copy work from people, the copy. And then at the end of it, she's like, but I don't know what I've done. I can't sit down and build something because the content is so much. We have to push through. They have a pass mark of, I think, 80%.
Wait, and the program is like a year, right?
It's a year long.
So it sounds like they're trying to cram 4 years of like university education into
all of that
into one, which sounds like really horrendous.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's a lot. The way you said, it takes a certain type of person to be able to make it through.
To get through. Yeah. And I guess it takes sometimes they use that as I said, a badge of honor.
Yep.
Well, very interesting. Any other boot camps that you've looked? I loved Andela. I mean, I don't think they do that, but yeah, remember when we were
used to be the
together?
Holy Grail.
Yeah,
Andela
I think
was
they
the
also
Holy
did
Grail.
like really good stuff.
I honestly, if I didn't go to Moringa, I would have wanted to go to Andela.
Yeah.
I think because Andela seemed like they had a direct pipeline to employment.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was huge. I remember when I just joined Moringa. In fact, what Moringa and Andela used to do, when you graduate from Moringa, you go into Andela for a couple of weeks training, and then you're now in Andela and you get employment through Andela. Yeah. So I remember when I joined, I was like, that's what's going to happen. But then they cut off the partnership. And I was like, no. they started only hiring people from, I think, Rwanda. They're like, we have enough Kenyans.
Yeah, there's enough. Yeah. But I also think one thing that I find was interesting is how sometimes they'd go and recruit, like Andela, people from campus who have not actually finished. And then, like, which is okay, I guess you train them up.
Yeah.
But I guess what would be your advice? Because employers are okay to hire you out of a boot camp.
True.
Or should I go for like my 4-year engineering undergraduate?
Well, I think it's based on, does that undergraduate have a body of work? I think, honestly, an undergrad person who has gone through 4 years and has taken the time to build their own projects, has gone out there and done the work, I think would be still a very good hire. But I think the only issue with undergraduates sometimes is we've all gone to university. We know what happens in university. People don't really focus that much. Bootcamps focus you for a period of time.
Okay.
But in undergraduate level, unless this person is self-driven, they've done the work, they're out there, they're building.
Yeah.
They've maybe even had a few small jobs on the side. That I think would still be a valid hire. I think both are okay. It just depends on the body of work.
The body of work. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good one. So how do you make it through a boot camp, and how do you stand out?
Yeah, that's good. I think a lot of people also they have a misconception that just because I'm going through a boot camp, my life is sorted.
Yeah.
It's a huge misconception because you also need to market yourself within the boot camp, quote unquote. I remember, maybe it's because I am a very outgoing person, so I make sure that people know me. But I remember that's what kind of gave me favor in the boot camp. So in Moringa, for example, we had like a lot of, let's say, co-curricular activities that we'd be doing outside of just coding. We'd have things called lightning talks, Thursday speakers. So like a lightning talk is you're given a topic and you just speak about it for an hour. At the end of the day, I think it used to be on Thursdays or Tuesdays. And then we'd have Thursday speakers coming in. So I remember I used to make it up. Like, if lightning talk comes, I have to present a topic.
Oh, wow.
When we get a speaker, I have to ask a question.
I love it.
If I didn't have a question, I'd rack my brain. I'm like, come on. You have to interact.
Yeah.
And that got me noticed very early on.
Yeah.
And when Moringa would have would go for like Nairobi Tech Week, they'd look for a few students who like, come and represent Moringa at Nairobi Tech Week. I know they have like campus ambassadors also now, so you have the chance to do it, just putting yourself out there. So that means that when anything comes about, they're looking for who do they know. Unfortunately, in the tech world, people say tech people are very introverted, they keep to themselves, it's just them and their code. But I think to be able to make something out of your bootcamp experience, you have to be able to come out of that. You have to show that you're a well-rounded individual.
So important.
You can speak, you can
Most
explain your code.
importantly.
I know it's very scary for some people, especially people who are like naturally introverted, but a place like Moringa does at least give people the avenue to kind of do something. Do a talk, go out there, speak about what you're building. It really helps to be able to market yourself. You're building like your own brand, so that they know this person at least. Of course, you work very hard. Your code is at least good, but then again, you can speak. You can talk about your code. You can talk about the building processes. You can interact with people because Moringa it's a business at the end of the day. They do not want to get their students out there, and then they're told, oh, the people that we have from Moringa, they can't talk,
they can't communicate.
Their code is a little bit lackluster. No, they want a well-rounded person to be their voice out there. Yeah. So I think that's how you stand out. Just speak any opportunity you can, do it.
Network.
Yeah.
I agree, because I remember when you joined iCube, you stood out for me. I was like, this guy is like a born leader. He's like a graduate, but I can give him a product to take on, lead, and he will deliver. So I completely concur with that. Just a question on time, because there are different lengths of bootcamps, as we've discussed. We have the 1 year, we have the 6 months. I've seen some that are 2 months. What is right?
That's a very tough question to answer. I think it all depends on how they organize their curriculum. The Moringa curriculum was 6 months. But honestly, in those 6 months, I didn't have a life outside of Moringa. It was back to back.
Oh, wow.
Every single day, even my weekends, because we have like weekend projects. So it was still very intense. Oh my goodness. I remember my parents would be like, we don't see you anymore. I'm like, I have no time. But I was still enjoying the process. You know, there's one thing to be in such a very intense program and not enjoy it. You will hate it. But it was very intense for me, but I did enjoy the process. So I think that's also very important. If you're not enjoying that process, maybe software engineering might not be for you, or you need you need a different bootcamp. Or they have the option right now to go online where it's a bit stretched. They stretch the 6 months into a year, and then you do evenings. You have your evening classes. So it's a bit more relaxed if you don't learn in such a high pressure environment. But to be honest, most bootcamps are high pressure environments.
So they're just high pressure.
But in all honesty, isn't the tech space also like a high pressure environment? Sometimes.
I mean, like, I think if I was to hire like an intern or a graduate, I don't think I would pressure them, like, to be quite honest. If I would like understand, like, this is your first job coming in, like, you're learning. I'll give you, say, a year time to learn. I don't think I'd like hammer you with concepts and practice. And I think sometimes that's like the challenge with bootcamps. But tech is high pressure. Things are changing. AI is taking over our jobs.
My goodness.
The layers. It is a lot. It is a very like high pressure environment. Is there any last parting shots you've been? I think anyone listening to this and thinking of joining a bootcamp has definitely gotten some nuggets. I actually have a question. I was actually looking at a bootcamp, and then I realized they have an age limit.
Really?
Yeah, ALX has an age limit. I think I think it's 18 to 34. Then I'm like, why?
Interesting.
And I was just like, doesn't seem right, because you should be able to. Yeah.
Then again, I think maybe they're looking at the time commitment that you have to put for ALX. It's a 1 year program, yes, but they will take everything from you. I think they say it's like 60, 70 hours a week minimum.
Wow, that's more than 67 hours a week.
Yeah.
It's a full-time job.
So I think they're trying to look for, if you're fully employed, because some people have tried with like managing employment and ALX at the same time.
It's tough.
It does not work.
It does not work.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to look at who is most likely to not be fully engaged. Yeah, because they want you to give your all.
But let's say you've just like had a layoff and...
No, they should accept. If I can't commit my time, I know my time.
I found that very interesting.
That's wrong. I know in Moringa I had a classmate who was
mature
60.
student, and usually they're the best.
Honestly,
focused.
They do work really hard.
So they know why they're there. You've learned. Even now, when I have been a mature student, but you're just focused. I know I'm here. I know what I need to do. Let's go. But sorry, I was asking if you have any parting shots.
My parting shot, I think if anybody wants to do, like, get into software, get into this tech world, bootcamps are a really good option. But I think as I told you when I started, my goal wasn't even directly looking for employment. I just wanted to build. So I think you really need to understand your why. Because it might be that you're not like, maybe you want to do something in the tech space, but not necessarily even engineering. You can get into product management. I remember I tried to convince my sister to get into front-end development because I thought she's like an artistic person. But then because she's very self-aware, she's like, no. I think my calling is to UI UX.
Yeah.
And she did a Google course, and right now she's working in the UK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
because she understood, like, okay, I don't really have to go through what you went through. Let me analyze all of this and see what is good
pick
for me.
the right
Yeah.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, so just take your time, see what you want. There are very many options out there these
many,
days.
yeah. Fantastic. I don't think I have any additional parting shots. That was Bogwa. Some really great tips on coding bootcamps. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time, Kwaheri.
9 to 5 has good vibes, but 9 to 5 with